The Kia EV4 has been seen in recent spy shots, and it's nice to see a saloon car again. Kia's EV4 is definitely on the way, and it looks like it could be a really nice car in the cheaper end of the market as well, so it's something else that you could get if you didn't want a Tesla Model 3. Quite a lot of people these days saying they don't want a Tesla, or they're selling them if they've got one, for all sorts of crazy reasons. But is it really as exciting as it seems? Let's talk about it. Also, by the way, sorry about the squeaky chair. I'm now back in Europe. This is the first video I think I've done since being back in Europe, and I've landed back with a very squeaky chair. Hello folks, thanks for tuning in. My name is Ben Alexander and I make EV news videos. The premise was every day. I will try to do that this year, actually almost every day if I can. And but it's very hard to do it. There's lots of other things going on in life, so feel free to subscribe if this is your cup of tea and you want to keep up to date with the latest EV news. In their sort of spectrum of cars that you can buy from Kia that are electric, this is one of their cheap ones, sort of, relatively speaking. That's important because the market for reasonably priced EVs or cheaper EVs is still pretty limited, as I've mentioned a lot in the past. And Kia has a track record of delivering, in my opinion, like very solid value. If it's priced right, I think this could go head to head with the ID.3, for example, from Volkswagen, the Tesla Model 3, some of the variants anyway. And yeah, now more than ever, there are more people looking for Tesla-like vehicles, but not with a Tesla badge on it. And I've not got an opinion on that. I'll say nothing. Nothing at all. You can say what you like in the comments though. And I'm sure some people will, and some people will reply to you. From the spy shots, it looks like the EV4 is a kind of compact crossover, fairly large-ish, with a boxier stance to it, kind of like a small EV9 if you squint a little bit. And that could mean that there's more interior space and practicality compared to something like the Hyundai Ioniq 5, which is probably one of my favourite electric vehicles at the minute. You should expect a minimalist but sort of high-tech interior, probably borrowing design cues from the EV6 and the EV9. Kia has been nailing that balance between a bit futuristic, functional, and not overly doing it with all the screens and still retaining buttons and things like that, which is another win in that department, I think a lot of people would say. In fact, I will do a poll on that. Check the community section afterwards, after you've watched the video, just go to that. In regards to range and the battery specs and things like that, we can make some educated guesses. It'll be probably built on the EGMP platform, which means that we could see maybe 250 to 300 miles of real world range, maybe 180 to 200 miles real world in winter or something like that. Depends. Maybe not minus 30 degrees Celsius, but you know, minus 5, minus 10, you might get still a good range, I reckon. Fast charging as well, that should be okay because it's an 800 volt architecture, or 800 volt battery. I still think we use the word architecture a little bit too much. It's just an 800 volt battery basically. So that's good for topping up quickly, 10 to 80%, probably 20-30 minutes, something like that, if they stick to their usual tech anyway. Unless they want to make it a little bit more budget friendly and it might be a bit slower, potentially. Kia clearly positioning themselves as a leader in the EV world, and they are just nailing it, in short. I think if you don't think it looks good, go and look at something like a Mazda MX-30, look at the specs, look at it, look around, and get back to me, because there's a big difference in what some companies are doing to other companies. So the EV4 could be a strong option if they get the pricing and the features right, and they probably will because it is Kia. They're quite good at that, with a lot of new competition from Chinese companies and legacy automakers working to catch up a little bit, although they're still not really doing that well. A well-priced, well-equipped EV4, I think, could give them a pretty good step forward in the market, you know, capture some market share. I think their design team have been really doing well, super well, up there with the best of them, I think, in the last 5 years. And they don't really seem to have any big red crosses next to their cars, I think. Most of their cars, you know, they don't have like a great car, but it's overly expensive, or a great car, but it's a terrible battery range or something like that. There's just really not any of those, you know. In fact, they're doing better than most companies, I think, producing cars that don't, you know, that tick lots of positive boxes. So they look well, they present well, decent range, they look and feel inside pretty well, I think. So that's everything I think you could expect from a car. So it depends on the price, I think, and the statistics. If you want to stay updated on the latest EV news as well, make sure to subscribe, unless it isn't your cup of tea, in which case I'm confused as to why you're watching this. And also, you can unsubscribe. It works both ways, folks. It really does. So what do you think? Let me know in the comments what you think, and I'll be waiting to reply to some comments afterwards. And I think generally the EV4 is going to do really well if they actually bring to market, actually can make it and sell it. And do you think you'll see it in 5 years' time on the roads on a daily basis, like the Model 3, for example? I think it's possible. It's kind of possible. Or is it the new? Is it like one of the new Jaguars? Something you'll probably never see ever. Put a comment below with your thoughts, and I'll see you in the next video. This is just a fairly short video. I'm back at it on my desk.